Hi guys, it's a dreary and dreary afternoon here in Kigali. It's been overcast and raining heavily for the past couple of hours. And you always know when it's going to rain because about 40 minutes before it starts, there's this blast of wind just rips through everything like whoosh, all the trees, all of the sort of the badunk 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 on the tin roof trying to fly away. And then it's basically saying get indoors, and about 40 minutes after that you get a massive downpour, clap of thunder. We've actually had a weather warning recently saying that we're in for quite a bit of this. It is the wet season at the moment, and it's been unseasonably dry up until about this point, but now I think the serious weather's starting. So I just wanted to make this quick video because people have been contacting me recently saying that they're either moving to Kigali or they're thinking about moving to Rwanda and asking, you know, how do you find a job in Rwanda? Now, it's a difficult one. It definitely is a difficult one. Most people living here long term start a company. Myself, I run a development company working with international organisations, non-governmental organisations and development departments, helping to develop strategies and help things tick over. I'll probably talk more about that in another video because it's the weekend and work. But there are one or two places that I suggest people check out. These are places that I look at because, you know, I am a contractor, so I do keep an eye out for tenders and contracts from time to time. And these are my top tips, really. There are probably three main job sites that I tend to keep a focus on. And you can access these from outside Rwanda, so you can see what jobs are available in Rwanda before you get here. But I will talk about my top tip for job searching at the end of this video. So probably the first place you want to head over to is a site called Job in Rwanda. And this is pretty much Rwanda's local job posting board. And what I really like about it is you've got the site is split up into different sections. So you've got jobs for people who are looking for full-time employment. You've got contracts for people like me who are looking for contracting work. You've got tenders. So these are often government contracts or public tenders for public bodies. And then you've got this little section here called Other, which I always like Other. I mean, you know, I want an other type of job most days. So I'm always intrigued what goes under there. And that's usually calls for training and things like that. But it's nicely sectioned and you can just scan through it. And you can also sign up for I was about to say a weekly job update, but I think I get mine every day. I'm fairly sure I get a daily job update from them. So yeah, that's worth checking out. Oh, hold on, I need to blow my nose. Look away. Oh, okay, that's better. Another place that's always worth checking out is LinkedIn. I have to admit, I'm not the world's biggest LinkedIn fan. I think my CV's up there somewhere. Actually it is up there somewhere because that's how I got my last job. I'll talk about that in a moment, but yeah, LinkedIn, I've never been a huge active user on there. I kind of stick to the more mainstream social media, sort of Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, though how much longer on Twitter, who knows. But yeah, LinkedIn definitely does have its uses. If you take 5 minutes out of your day and you go and spruce up your CV and your experience on there, and then also you can sign up for job alerts. There is a section on LinkedIn just called Jobs, and go in there and set up a LinkedIn job alert for Rwanda. And it honestly, it catches a lot of things that maybe don't always appear on job in Rwanda. And yeah, it's just worth searching through. It tends to give very, very detailed listings on there as well. So go check that out. It's definitely worth it. And I think I get a sort of a daily or a weekly job update from them as well. Now, in a similar vein, there's also Google Jobs. So, most people are aware that you can set up a news alert, and it's always good to set up a news alert, especially if you're about to move to another country. It's good to set up news alerts for the country that you're moving to, so that when you get there, you're not shocked and surprised by whatever's going on over there. Like, there's a lot of things, especially living in Africa, that just don't get reported in Western media, and you just don't see on international news outlets. So often people arrive like, oh, I didn't know this was happening. Oh, I didn't know about that. It's like, well, yeah, you need to set up a Google News alert. So Google basically scans the internet for any relevant, up-to-date news about that specific country, and it sends you in an easy daily digest. So that's worth doing. But as well as news, you can also set Google job alerts. And again, every now and again, it catches something that either Job in Rwanda or LinkedIn Jobs hasn't. So often it's a lot of the same jobs, but every now and again, there's something else in there, and that's worth checking out. Now, I do know that for digital nomads, I think there are some other options. My friend Joe keeps going on about something called Dynamite Jobs. I'll stick the link for that below. So digital nomad jobs are jobs that you can do from anywhere in the world completely remotely. I know as well, there are a lot of job sites, big job sites like Indeed, or I've been out of this for so long, I don't know. But a lot of the big job sites allow you to search jobs remotely. So, technically speaking, you could be staying and living here and working remotely somewhere else. A lot of people do that nowadays as they travel around. But yeah, those are my big three for specifically in Rwanda: is Job in Rwanda, LinkedIn Job Alert for Rwanda, and Google Job Alert for Rwanda. They pretty much have you covered. The other places is there's a couple of Facebook groups for Kigali, and I will drop the links below. There is a Facebook group that's quite active called Living in Kigali, and they also have a website with quite a bit of information about the different sections and regions of Kigali that is quite helpful if you're moving here for the first time. So I'll drop that link below. There's also a smaller group called Kigali Entrepreneurs. So if you're thinking of setting up a business here, you can pop in there and post questions. Can be a bit quiet, but if you ask a question, you often do get some answers. And if you're an expat, there is also a Facebook group, I think, called Expat in Rwanda. There's a few different Facebook groups with that title, but there's one specific one that a lot of expats join and share information in there. Whereas Living in Kigali is for everybody, whereas the expat one is just for expats. So yeah, if you're moving to Rwanda for the first time, it might be worth joining one or both of those groups, just because they're good places to ask a question and usually get an honest response. And again, you see occasional job ads float past on there, but not so much. Anyway, my final tip, if you're moving here, Kigali is quite a small city, and one thing that we always say here, it's a bit of a village. We kind of joke that there's 1 degree of separation between everybody in Kigali, which isn't entirely true, but it feels like that some days. It's like, you can't step out of your door without bumping into somebody that you know. And the nice thing about that is, there's that saying, it's not what you know, but who you know. And the idea being that, getting a job is all about connections and who you know. But what I like about Kigali is that, generally speaking, it's quite easy to get to know people. You can turn up to a few events and you'll find yourself meeting people. You can, even occasionally you can cold call organizations, just drop them an email and say, hi, can I come and tell you about what I do? Or here's my CV. But generally speaking, there's a lot of opportunity to make those contacts at social events within Kigali. And once you know a few people, you tend to get referred on to other people quite a bit. That was actually what I was going to say about how I got my last job through LinkedIn. LinkedIn have just done something now where you know, like Facebook, you've got your profile picture, and they've done something now where you can flick on a switch that says looking for work. And I just left a contract because I wasn't really enjoying it very much. And first time I've been on LinkedIn in ages. And I saw this option. I went, okay. So I just flicked on looking for work. And probably within about an hour, a friend from Kigali who's now working outside of Rwanda just sent me an email saying, oh, are you still in Rwanda? You know, oh, you're looking for work. We should talk. And it was like, oh, yeah, okay, let's do that then. And that's how I've now ended up with a contract that I'm really enjoying. So LinkedIn definitely has its uses. I guess I underutilize it just because I feel with social media nowadays, I've got so many inboxes. I've got Instagram inbox, I've got Twitter inbox, Facebook, I've got Gmail, I've got work email, I've got LinkedIn boxes, and you know, it comes to a point now, and WhatsApp, you know, it comes to a point now where somebody messages me and within about 20 minutes I've forgotten which inbox it's in, and then I like spend another half an hour trying to find the message again to respond to it. So I kind of try to minimize my time on social media nowadays. But yeah, okay. Go forth and find a job. I mean, you know, even if you're just thinking about moving here, those are quite helpful sites because they allow you to just glimpse what's available. And again, I'd say, you know, Kigali is a small town. You know, there isn't masses and masses on the job boards. It's getting a lot better nowadays, but there isn't masses on there. But one thing to know, and I'll talk about this in a different video, but one thing to know is, generally speaking, it's not difficult to set up a business or to get a working visa in Rwanda. They make the process quite straightforward, and it's quite a cheap process. I mean, incredibly cheap compared to many other countries in this region. So Rwanda is quite welcoming to outsiders to come and, you know, to try their luck in the job market, but especially in setting up companies. And along with that comes an opportunity to sort of invent your job. You know, so if you have a skill or there's something that you think you'd be good at, you know, maybe even if you don't see that specific job advertised, there might still be an opportunity to come and either work as a sole trader, you know, just work for yourself, or, you know, set up a company doing something that there might be a market for. But I would say that is a whole topic for another video, because the Rwandan marketplace, in some respects, is very easy, and in some respects is really difficult. So I'll go through those at a different date. Yeah, I hope these have been helpful. If you do find a job here through one of those sites, I'd love to hear about it in the comments below. Good luck.